Life just seems to have this way of throwing challenges at us, doesn't it?
It really does. No matter who you are, tough times, well, they're just part of the deal, it seems.
Exactly. And that's actually what we're digging into today. We've been looking at this really insightful video featuring Jim Rohn,
Mhm.
and it's all about how we, navigate those difficult periods that inevitably come up.
Right. And our goal here, I think, is to maybe go a bit deeper than just summarizing it.
Yeah.
We really want to pull apart the core ideas Ron presents, find those really valuable, actionable bits of advice.
The stuff that can actually help someone listening get through whatever they might be facing now or, maybe later on.
Absolutely. And the good news right from the start in the video is that feeling of hope.
Yes. That was one of the first things that really struck me, too. He makes it so clear that even when things feel incredibly intense, they are temporary.
Without exception. That's such a key takeaway. He emphasizes that difficulty, well, it's universal. Nobody gets a free pass.
It's just part of the human experience, the ups and downs.
Periods of ease, periods of, significant challenge.
And it actually made me think about that question he posed in the video.
Right,
Like, what if life didn't have those tough spots?
right. It sounds good at first glance, maybe?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
But then you think, well, hold on. Aren't those the times we actually, grow the most?
Exactly. That's where the real learning happens, isn't it? Figuring out our own resilience, understanding ourselves better, developing strength we didn't even know was there.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of leads right into one of the main points from the video,
Which is?
that it's not so much what happens to us, but really how we choose to respond.
Ah, yes. That's such an empowering shift, isn't it?
Really is.
Because the video makes it clear, even when things outside feel totally out of control, we still have power over our reaction.
We always have that choice.
Mhm.
And that response, as the video highlights, that's what ultimately shapes our experience, shapes our ability to, move forward effectively.
So, to kind of illustrate this whole ebb and flow idea,
Yeah.
he uses that analogy,
This seasons analogy, it's really powerful.
talking about life having its seasons and how we have to learn to handle the winters.
Those cold, kind of barren times where things feel stuck.
That image really resonates, that feeling of being frozen, progress seeming impossible. But the key insight from the video, the real hope, is that it's cyclical, just like real winter turns to spring.
Spring always comes, renewal, new opportunities. They're always coming. Those difficult times will pass.
So, okay, if we're thinking about these seasons, these winters, what does the video say we can actually do? What are the strategies?
Right, that's the practical part. The video lays out several really valuable approaches. The first big one is perspective.
Perspective. Okay, explain that a bit more.
Well, the video talks about how easy it is to get so caught up in the immediate problem, you lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah, you can't see the forest for the trees kind of thing.
Exactly. So Ron argues that consciously shifting your perspective is, vital. It's about choosing to see the difficulty as temporary.
Not permanent.
Not permanent, and seeing it as a setback, not the end of the road, not a total defeat.
There was that anecdote in the video, the construction businessman.
Oh, yeah, that was a great example, facing setback after setback, right?
Yeah.
Project delays, weather problems.
Oh, yeah, dissatisfied client, the works, everything
Yes.
going wrong externally.
But instead of just feeling defeated, the video explains how he made this conscious choice to reframe it.
How did you do that?
He essentially said to himself, okay, this is one project. These are specific challenges. This doesn't define my whole career, my ability.
So he separated the event from his identity almost.
Exactly. And that shift in how he interpreted it allowed him to keep moving, to focus on solutions.
And interestingly, as the video points out, it wasn't just about pretending to be positive.
No, not at all.
It was about seeing it realistically, a temporary hurdle, which then freed him up to learn from it.
Right. So for anyone listening, maybe thinking about a challenge you're facing right now, how could you maybe just slightly reframe how you're viewing it, even a small shift?
That's a good question to ponder.
Yeah.
And building on that, sort of keeping things moving, the next strategy the video highlights is perseverance.
Perseverance, just pushing through when it gets tough.
Pretty straightforward, but so hard sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. The video reminds us it's easy to stay motivated when things are going great, right?
Sure.
But true resilience, that real grit, shows up when the path gets rocky.
And the video uses the classic example, Thomas Edison.
Perfect example, the light bulb quest. Thousands of attempts that didn't work.
It's mind-boggling. Most people would just said, okay, this isn't working long before that.
Right. But as the video points out, Edison famously reframed those so-called failures.
He saw them as learning, didn't he?
Exactly. That famous quote about finding 10,000 ways that won't work. That is perseverance in action.
So the encouragement from the video is, remember Edison when you hit a wall. See the setback, not as an end, but as just another step, another piece of information on the way to your goal.
Keep going.
Now, closely related to not giving up is adaptability. The video really stresses this too.
Oh, definitely. Because life is just constantly changing, throwing unexpected things at us.
Curveballs, yeah.
So being flexible, being able to adjust your approach when things don't go as planned, that's fundamental.
The video had another good analogy for this one.
The sailboat.
Right.
Navigating the sea.
You can't control the wind.
Can't control the direction or how strong it is, no. But a skilled sailor adjusts the sails.
Right. They use the conditions, even challenging ones, to keep heading towards their destination.
It's such a powerful reminder. We can't always control the external weather in our lives, but we absolutely have control over how we adjust our sails, our responses, our strategies.
So for you listening, when those unexpected winds blow, how can you adjust your sails? How can you adapt?
It's about finding that agency within the situation.
Okay, so we've got perspective, perseverance, adaptability. What's next from the video?
The support system. Hugely important.
Ah, yes. The reminder that you don't have to go through tough times alone.
Absolutely not. The video strongly encourages reaching out. Friends, family, mentors, whoever makes up your trusted circle.
There's real strength in that, isn't there? In admitting you need help or just someone to listen.
Definitely. Sharing the burden makes it lighter. And you know that saying the video mentions, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Well, often that toughness isn't just about individual grit. It's about having people who help you get back up when you fall down. That support network bolsters you.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And speaking of inner resources, the video also talks a lot about maintaining a positive attitude.
Yes, but is careful to clarify what that means.
Right. It's not about just slapping on a happy face and ignoring reality.
Exactly. It's not denial. It's more about making a conscious choice, an active effort to look for the good, even when things are difficult.
Finding the silver lining, seeking the lesson within the challenge.
And holding on to a genuine belief that things can and likely will improve. It's about hope.
The video used the farmer analogy here, right? Planting a seed.
The farmer plants the seed, doesn't expect a crop tomorrow. They understand there's a process, maybe storms, setbacks along the way. But they maintain that positive outlook, that trust in eventual growth.
So the video encourages us to adopt that same kind of patient, hopeful mindset, believing in the potential for growth even through the storms.
And just as important as mindset, maybe even underpinning it, is self-care. The video really emphasizes this, especially during tough times.
Yeah, it's so easy to let that slide when you're just focused on fighting fire.
So easy. But the video points out you have to prioritize your well-being, physical, mental, emotional. It's essential.
So things like what? Eating well, getting enough sleep.
Absolutely. The basics. Eating decently, sleeping, resting. But also making time for things you enjoy, things that relax you.
Taking time for reflection too, right? Like meditation or prayer or just quiet time.
Whatever helps you center yourself. And that analogy they use is so perfect.
The empty cup.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're depleted, you just don't have the reserves, the energy, the strength to handle the challenges effectively.
It's not selfish, it's necessary. Prioritize your well-being.
Definitely.
And finally, the video talks about faith.
And again, it frames this quite broadly.
Right, and not strictly religious faith, although it can be that.
It can be, but it also encompasses faith in yourself, faith in the process, just a fundamental belief that things will get better.
Trusting that there's a purpose, maybe, even if you can't see it right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The video uses that image of being in a storm. You can't see the sun.
But you have faith, it's still there, behind the clouds.
Right. It encourages us to hold on to that belief that the struggle has meaning and that we have the inner strength to get through it.
You know, if folks listening are finding this kind of deep dive helpful, maybe getting some useful ideas from breaking down these concepts.
Yeah.
Well, maybe consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We do these kinds of analyses regularly, exploring different sources and ideas.
That's a good point. If this resonates, hitting subscribe means you won't miss future deep dives.
Exactly. Just a thought if you're finding value here. Okay, so wrapping up these strategies from the Jim Rohn video, We've covered quite a bit.
We have perspective, perseverance, adaptability,
The support system, positive attitude, self-care.
and faith. It's quite a comprehensive toolkit, really.
It really is. Tools for navigating those inevitable rough patches.
And I think the video's concluding message is really important, too, that sense of reassurance.
Yeah, that these tough times, as hard as they feel in the moment, they actually shape us, right? Build our character, strengthen our resolve.
And reminding us we're not alone. Everyone faces these kinds of challenges.
It ends with some really encouraging words, actually. I think they're worth repeating. Something like,
I believe in you, and I believe in your ability to overcome any challenge that comes your way.
yeah, and keep going, keep growing, and remember that the best is yet to come.
Such a positive and empowering way to frame it.
Definitely. So after exploring all these insights from the video,
Yeah.
maybe final thought for everyone listening to consider.
Okay.
Based on everything we've discussed, perspective, perseverance, all of it, what's maybe one small but significant shift could be in how you're thinking, or one small action that you could take like today to help you navigate a challenge you might be facing right now.
Just one small shift. That's a really practical thing to reflect on. Something actionable.